Did you want to start with comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, it's come to my attention that there may be some dissension on to this proclamation from one or more members of the council. That's been brought to my attention. So I do want to clarify that we do not have a completely written out policy for proclamations. We have what I would say is a practice that has been followed for several years. The city does have resolution number 10-10, which was adopted in 2010, and it referenced a previous resolution that was adopted shortly after the city became a city in 1999, and that establishes the rules for our meetings. And so that's essentially our rules and decorum resolution. This resolution does recognize that the mayor is the official head of the city for all ceremonial purposes. And so it's been our interpretation that the selection of proclamations is something that is the province of the mayor. And so all of you generally have an opportunity to be mayor. There's a rotating mayor basis. One of the perks that comes with that is that as mayor, you get to determine who will receive proclamations. To date, we have not had, or at least not expressly had, any dissension or disagreement by council members to a proclamation. I understand that this proclamation does have one or more members who may not agree with the proclamation. So my recommendation to the council is that the mayor give the proclamation as scheduled, because that is, as mayor, something she is entitled to do under our established practice. But that prior to the proclamation being read, if there is any council member that wishes to speak on the item, that you do so, and if it's your intention to express disagreement with the proclamation, that you can state that on the record. Going forward, we do not have to follow this process, and I know there are some cities where the issue of proclamations has generated some controversy, and I believe there are some cities that do require an affirmative vote of a majority of the council to pass a proclamation. That is something that we could look at in the future, but that's not something that we have in place tonight. So my recommendation is if any council member wishes to speak, that he or she does so before the proclamation is read, and then the proclamation can be read.
So I make a motion that we table 1.3 until we do have the meeting that you referenced, that we establish policy. Proclamations traditionally have been non-controversial, non-divisive, that the whole council supports. They're kind of happy things, a good thing we can do. And in the case where the whole council can't support it, or at least not be opposed to it, I think we need to have a policy in place for those situations. And so my motion is we table this, we schedule the discussion where we can establish policy, and we move forward from there.
I agree with what Councilmember Pope said. Most of the time our proclamations honor the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, committees in the city that help do the City Lions Club, Kiwanis Club, everything like that. When you bring someone's preference to have use sex as their proclamation, part of their proclamation, I don't think that's where the city needs to be stepping in and getting involved with what goes on behind closed doors on this. Just because other people think it's the thing to do now, different cities, different counties. I think we have a different vision here in Oakley, and I think that everyone, and in the part of the proclamation it says we can all live and work together with a commitment to mutual respect and understanding. I think that goes for everybody. I don't think that should have to do with anybody's sexual preference or anything like that. It's just a human thing that we respect everybody. We have MeWe in Oakley here that calls that out for people of different ethnicities, different sexual persuasions and stuff like that. So I think we covered that. I don't think there's a problem in Oakley with the LGBT community. This calls for a month of Gay Pride Month. I mean, we only honor the veterans for one day out of the month. We have Memorial Day set aside for one day out of the month. And to honor a lifestyle for a whole month, I think that's going above and beyond, what we represent here in the city. I mean, I've had customers that are gay, and they've never asked for a special preference or treatment or anything like that. They just want to be treated like everybody else. And I think that's what we should do here, is treat everyone like you want to be treated. And I wouldn't ask for a proclamation. I'm overweight a little bit, that, people do a special proclamation because for fat people or something like that. So, because they're biased against. So I think we can just stick with the Boy Scouts and non-controversial items that we put forth. And again, I think everybody should be committed to mutual respect and understanding with everyone in the city. Thank you.
I support the proclamation. I don't have any issues with it. To me, it's not controversial.
So just to understand where the council, we have a motion. We do not have a second.
Second the motion.
Okay, so we now have a motion on the floor. And so the action at this point is to continue this item, not take action on it, but to continue the item. And so if it's the pleasure of the council to entertain this proclamation at a further date, then it's the motion is a little vague in that what direction does the council wish staff to take? Is there a date certain? And I assume prior to this matter coming back, if the council ultimately passes this motion, you'll want to have considered a change to the proclamation policy. So
Before you go any further, because of what you had stated previously, that there is no, there are no rules except for the rule that we have, that it is at the discretion of the mayor to read proclamations. I feel that you can't then put a pin in it and then go back later and say, let's change the rules because we don't like how we're playing right now. So for that reason, I have a few thoughts, and then I'm going to read the proclamation. Brit from the dais, being the fact that it is an issued proclamation from myself.
But we have a custom. The custom has been that the mayors have always been careful not to select controversial items or items which other members of the council would disagree with. That's been the custom and the policy of this council. It's your choice to break that custom and to go against the wishes of the council. When we have a motion on the table which deserves discussion and a vote.
And I absolutely agree with that, and I believe that
should
this
go
discussion
before
will take place. But at this time,
perhaps
we will
our
follow
legal counsel
how
can advise
our
the procedure
rules
when there's
are
a
written
motion
right
on the
now.
table is to take action on the motion before any other action.
We can take action on the motion
So you would be
we can
out of
have this
order
at a later
if you were to take
discussion.
another action when there's a motion.
There's
Unless
no
there's a
action that
counter
I'm
motion,
doing. There's no action
and
that
then
I'm
we
doing
can
aside from
discuss
reading
that.
the proclamation.
So perhaps legal can advise.
Well, they're correct. At this point, there is a motion, and so we have a second. I think it is correct for the council to take a vote on the motion, and if the motion is successful, then the expressed will of the council will be to table this item. The mayor can then proceed as she sees fit, but my recommendation before the mayor speaks, if that ultimately is she's going to do that, would be to at least take the vote and understand what the will of the council is on this subject.
So can you make clear the motion?
The motion is to continue this item until a future date, after which the council will have considered whether to change the proclamation policy to require a majority vote of the council. So I interpret the motion to require two things. One is that a change is proposed to the proclamation policy whereby an affirmative vote of the council would be required. That would be one action. And then if that action is in favor of that change, then the second action would be for the proclamation to then be reconsidered by affirmative vote of the council. That's what I understand the motion is.
Or we should have a discussion. On any future proclamations. But as it is now, I am following all the guidelines that are already set for our city, and I'm not breaking anything by issuing a proclamation under the rules that we have currently.
My only recommendation, I understand the mayor's position, is to allow the vote to be taken on this motion. If that, the mayor can proceed as she sees fit once that vote is taken. But I do think there is a motion on the floor. It should be voted. And then again, if the mayor believes she needs to read the proclamation under existing tradition, then that would be her prerogative. But I do think the vote should be taken.
Okay.
Well, we have a motion that's been seconded. That motion needs some affirmative action. Either the vote needs to be taken or it needs to be withdrawn. So at this point, my recommendation would be to take an affirmative vote on the motion. In other words, to have the question called.
Well, before we get there, I'll make some comments. Never before have we questioned the mayor's selection of a proclamation. We haven't always agreed, but we've never challenged that. It is never written in there that all council members have to agree with the proclamation. My issue right now is that the road we're traveling on is full of detours ahead of us. If every decision we make as a mayor, in our role as a mayor, is going to be challenged by council members who may not agree with us, we're never going to get anything done. We're never going to move forward with the process. We have a process been established. It's been that way. That nowhere in detail does it say that I must confer as the mayor with fellow council members if they agree or if they don't agree. Now, I don't necessarily agree with the direction that Mayor Alaura has decided on as far as proclamations, but I'll honor the fact that she is the mayor. We have a procedure in place that dictates how this is done, and I'm not willing to go in here right now and throw it all away. And because every mayor will have this situation they come up with where someone doesn't agree with them, that we'd have to back off and go through it. I mean, we have tradition, we have a process in place that does what we need to do. If at some later date you want to talk about this during and open up a session on what we should do or what we don't want to do, but for now we have a process in place that I don't think should be disrupted at this time.
Did you have a comment, Sue? Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Would you like to call for the vote, Claire? On the yes.
On the motion.
On the motion, may I get a vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those all opposed? Aye. Opposed wins. I will continue.
So just to clarify, the motion, the vote was 2-3 with Councilmembers Pope and Hardcastle in favor of the motion, Councilmembers Romick, Higgins, and Mayor Alaura against the motion. So the matter is back before the mayor at this time.
And I do appreciate your opinions, and I respect them, as I would hope you would respect mine. I do want to preface this by saying that it was brought to my attention that of the 19 cities in Contra Costa County, Oakley remains only one of 2 that have not yet acknowledged June as LGBT Pride Month. And as recently as last week, the Board of Supervisors for Contra Costa passed a resolution unanimously recognizing June as Pride Month for the county. There are many proclamations that come before the council. There are ones in support of fighting a particular disease, such as lupus or MS, and others that recognize the work of groups, such as the Public Works Department or the Red Cross. And then there are groups in our community who would like to be recognized and bring awareness to who they are, such as those who have autism or those who are part of the LGBT community. And though I may or may not have a direct connection to any of these groups, I do know that they live here and they call Oakley home, as we all do. I wanted to be clear that I alone issue this proclamation for LGBT Pride Month and welcome those who would like to support it. But I do that for the same reasons that I have supported previous proclamations made here, which is to support the people who are in our community. All the people. I support them for what they're fighting for what they do, and who they are, even if that is different from myself. Whereas several cities in Contra Costa County, the state of California, and across the United States recognize and celebrate June as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, or LGBT Pride Month. And whereas, as the mayor of Oakley, I encourage all residents of Oakley to support the visibility, dignity, and equity for all people in the community, including our LGBT residents. And whereas many of the residents, students, city employees, and business owners within the city of Oakley who contribute to the enrichment of our city are a part of the LGBT community. And whereas June has become a symbolic month in which lesbians, gay men, bisexual people, transgender, and supporters come together in various celebrations of Pride. Now, therefore, I, Claire Alaura, as Mayor of Oakley, along with the undersigned, proclaim the month of June as LGBT Pride Month and invite everyone to reflect on ways we can live and work together with a commitment to mutual respect and understanding.